Hello, welcome to this session on EarlyWatch Alert in the cloud. My name is Susanne Klenzer. I'm product owner for a team that is developing the EarlyWatch Alert, mainly data scientists. And I'd like to present you today how the EarlyWatch Alert has changed. It's a service which is very well known because it exists already 25 years. So we come from the classical on-prem world, but in the meantime, we have a lot of relevant content which is also relevant for private cloud and public cloud scenarios. Before I start my presentation, I would like to ask the customers and partners in the audience, do you already use the EarlyWatch Alert workspace in SAP for me? Okay, some already do, that's great. But we also have customers who still use the EarlyWatch Alert in the Solution Manager and receive an email notification once a week with a detailed report. So the size of a report can differentiate between a few pages depending on the product or maybe 100, 130 pages. So it's a lot of content to consume, and 8 years ago we started off a project to bring the consumption of the EarlyWatch Alert service into SAP for me. So here's the agenda of my talk today. So first of all, I'm going to explain you how EarlyWatch Alert works in the cloud and which cloud products we cover with our service. Then I have some content examples which have been developed recently, for example, proactive SAP notes recommendations, where we also use the AI support data lake to retrieve the recommendations. And I want to explain you how you can receive email notifications from SAP for me to get warned about predictive scenarios which are calculated in the service. And last but not least, I will show you step by step how you can use the app Solution Finder in SAP for me to work on your alerts that are present in your system landscape and how you can give feedback to SAP on the issues that have been found. So let's start with the architecture picture. Maybe you see here my pointer, yeah. So in the middle, we have SAP for me as the collaboration platform and the platform where you can consume our results. On the left-hand side, we have the on-premise landscape. Traditionally, many customers have Solution Manager here, 7.2, or Focused Run, that collects the data from the managed systems, like the ERP systems or BW systems. But there's also a way to directly send this data from the ABAP stack of the managed systems to the document service of SAP for me. So you do not have to use the Solution Manager. It's somehow convenient to set it up via Solution Manager, but already now you can send this data directly. And inside these managed systems, you have collectors from us, which we ship on demand. So the recommendation is to allow so-called online collectors. They are not delivered via a software component, but they are shipped on demand. When we, for example, identify a new root cause that needs to be checked in our service, then we develop a collector which is shipped to the systems and then sends the data on a weekly basis back to SAP. We also have a connection here to the SAP HANA cockpit, and you can, in this scenario, also retrieve alerts from us into the administrative area of SAP HANA. So, for example, if you're a database administrator and want to see what the EarlyWatch Alert has calculated, you can also receive the alerts here. Then we have on the right-hand side the cloud solutions. On the top, the private cloud operated by SAP, enterprise cloud services, and they operate as a central focused run systems, and all the production systems are connected to this focused run system. In the last couple of weeks, we have also connected the test and development systems for the private cloud via the focused run to our EarlyWatch Alert workspace. And we cover, in the meantime, also public cloud solutions. I've listed them here. So the first one, which we started with, is integrated business planning, where we shifted the focus from the more technical topics, which we traditionally cover, like resource consumptions and so on, to the responsibilities which rely on the customer. So, for example, configuring the integrated business planning applications, or looking at the planning data which is processed in the system and how fast the planning data is growing. So here, for example, we recommend to delete planning data to avoid that tables reach a certain limit in the HANA database. And this is a kind of example of the integrated business planning EarlyWatch Alert content. Then we have the S/4HANA public cloud systems also connected. Here we generate two reports. One is external for the customer or partner, where he sees, for example, performance of apps, especially Fiori applications, but also other content. I'll have more details on a further slide. And we have an internal report where we check also the resource consumption and all the technical details where SAP is responsible for. And we monitor the systems and also give back feedback to the operations teams within SAP. Then we have Marketing Cloud. The content is very similar to the S/4HANA public cloud content. Here also we see Fiori applications and response times of the Fiori applications. Then we cover, since this summer, also HANA Cloud. So if you have not a HANA on-prem version, but you run HANA Cloud on BTP, you can also see the EarlyWatch Alert report for this HANA Cloud system in the EarlyWatch Alert workspace. So there's a product filter in the workspace where you can select HANA Cloud, and then you see all the aspects. For example, the fast-growing tables in the database or the memory consumption. There are further products which we are working on, like SuccessFactors, Payroll, DataSphere, and Analytics Cloud, but they are not yet available. Beneath the UI, we have one central HANA database, which is an 18 terabyte database. And we have connected worldwide 120,000 systems. So it's a really huge data platform which we have here. Many on-premise systems, many cloud systems are connected, and the metrics are kept for at least 4 years. So from the granularity of the data, we only go down to hours, not to minutes or seconds like monitoring tools. But these hourly data we store for a real long time frame. So when you go into your HANA database, for example, you would get only the last, I think, 42 days or so of data. But if you go into our applications and dashboards, you can go back 4 years. Connected to this system is here also a service development and data science space and an analytics cloud environment. There are different applications inside SAP for me. The first one is the landscape overview. This is when you open the URL to the EarlyWatch Alert workspace. You will see different cards on a Fiori overview page. One is, for example, the top systems. And they show as a bubble chart by number of users and the size of the database. So if you, for example, as a partner, open the workspace and select a customer number, you will get an overview on which are the most important systems in the landscape. Where are the most productive users working on? We also have in this landscape overview an overview on when did the last upgrade happen or the S4HANA conversion, and what was the performance impact before and after the upgrade. In the middle here you see we have a to-do list. That's the application called Solution Finder. It summarizes all the alerts from the complete landscape. So it can be hundreds of systems, and you see all alerts aggregated by finding and which systems are affected by alert. It's a good list because it's always the information from the most current report in the system, and you will also get already an information on the recommendation to a certain alert. You can filter in the application for different topics like HANA database or application, finance, and so on, since this refers to maybe your responsibility topic. Then we have the system overview. Here, when you open the application, it's called EarlyWatch Alert Dashboard. You enter a system ID, or you select it from a drop-down list. And here you see the consumption of your HANA database, HANA memory, HANA CPU. You see the application server utilization, but also the applications which are used. So typically you have different transactions. You see the response times, database time, CPU time, and the same you see also for Fiori applications. I have another slide where you see a detailed view how this Fiori application space looks like. Then we have predictions. So we are using the analytics library within a HANA to do the prediction. We have the time series, for example, for the number of records in a certain table, and then we predict how this table is going to grow over time. And with this prediction, we can see when a certain limit will be reached. Because in the HANA database, you have a record limit of 2 billion records. And if you hit that limit, then your application is going to dump, and maybe a key business process is not going to work. And therefore, it's very important to know well in advance when a table will hit this limit, for you also to be able to schedule a partitioning job. So it's possible still to have the table and to split it up in different partitions, and for each partition, you will, this limit is applied. But to have enough time to do this, it's important to know when your table will reach a certain size. Then we have a security overview on different security alerts which have been found in the system. And last but not least, also notifications. So if we find out that, for example, a certain table is critical, or you are using a lot of memory in your HANA database, then we send out notifications. Here is where you find the information. So under SAP for Me, Service and Support, Diagnostics, Reporting and Analytics, we have 4 different tiles. Workspace is the overview on all systems. Reports is the classical download of reports with all the chapters. Then we have the EarlyWatch Alert dashboard with the individual KPIs per system, and the solution finder. For your convenience, I've also added here the links in the slides. Let's come to one cloud product, S4HANA Public Cloud. As I said, we have shifted our focus from the technical aspects to more the aspects which are important to the business. And you see here, the target audience of our service is no longer only the IT team, it's also the business process expert and the people who maintain the business roles. You can see here in the list that we have different content. The most used apps in the system. I will show you this also on a slide. The number of users, response time, and trends. Trends is a very important topic because what we do in the background is we look if the response time is increasing over time. So we detect if you have a linear increase of response time or even an exponential increase. And if this happens, then we usually monitor the cloud systems also from our team. We contact the front office colleagues and discuss the issue and recommend a service. Because what can happen is that the data grows and the SQL statements get slower and slower over time, and so that we have an increase in the response time of the applications. But this can, of course, be then analyzed and fixed by maybe adding an index or changing some filters for the SQL statement. Then we have the data footprint analysis here per business application, and we look for critical findings, especially in the area of extended warehouse management and transportation management. There we have, together with the Mission Control Center in SAP, developed some checks which find inconsistencies in the system and also give recommendations. We look at the performance of the Fiori Launchpad and at custom extensibility objects, because still in SAP S/4HANA Public Cloud, it's possible to extend the solution to build custom views, and those could also cause performance issues in the system. We look at business roles and catalogs, test management, and we show you which embedded AI scenarios are available in your system. And we filter those scenarios by the application areas which are in use. So we see the usage of the transactions in your systems, and then we know, okay, you are maybe using FI, finance applications, and then we recommend the embedded AI functionality of FI. Okay. This is a screenshot from a report for S/4HANA Public Cloud. You see the table of contents here, where we have the different application areas which are used. This is dynamic, so it depends on what's really used in the system. And then we show the top 10 applications with response times and number of clicks, how many distinct users in which applications, to get an overview on the usage of the system. Here's a screenshot from the analysis of the custom CDS views. So CDS views can cause performance issues, and they also can cause consumption issues on the HANA database, either CPU issues or memory issues. Especially memory issues are very common. And in this case here, we check which select statements run longer than 10 seconds or have a high consumption of memory or CPU. And those are then listed here below, and they should be discussed with the implementation partner, because they need to be tuned to reduce the consumption and to increase the stability of the system. This is the detailed view of the EarlyWatch Alert dashboard, where you see the Fiori applications which are used in your system. We have the name of the application and a link to the Fiori reference library. So if you don't know what this application is about, you simply click on the link and get the description. You also see example screens of the application. You see how often the applications are used and what's the performance, and how many users are using them. And the statistics is on the left-hand side for 1 week, and on the right-hand side you see how the response time developed over time for the last 6 months. But the time frame can also be adjusted to go further back in time, for example. Okay, talking about applications. applications can also be deprecated by SAP and they can become obsolete. So what we are checking in your system is, are you using some old applications that need to be replaced? There you have different status information here, like is the application deprecated? That means it will be not available in a future release, it will become obsolete. And from here, you can also jump into the usage, which I showed you before. So if you find an application to be obsolete in your current system, you can check how many users are still using the application. And also, if I have a successor application, which is listed here, how often is this application already used in the systems? And are the users really transforming from the old or transitioning from the old application to the new one? Okay, so far to the applications in SAP for me, and now one use case, which is the notes recommendations. We have built a solution which is called missing side effect notes. The background is the following. You implement a node into your system because you found an issue, but later on, SAP finds out that this node is causing another issue, a side effect issue in the system. So there is a new node created with a correction, and one is the causing node, and the subsequent is the solving node. And what we are analyzing is your software stack, so on which product, which release, which support package you are on, and which nodes have been implemented to the system. And then we access this AI data lake and find out which nodes are missing because they fix a side effect of the already implemented corrections. And this is now live for these application areas. The last one which was added is CRM. You'll find a chapter in your report where you see, okay, this is the causing SAP node and this is the solving SAP node. So it's a check that is proactive, that wants to prevent that you run into an issue in your system, and it's very selective. It's not recommending a lot of nodes, but the very important ones. The second use case for recommending nodes is the case history. So what sometimes happens is that the business department open a case with SAP and they need a quick fix for an issue that occurred in the system. And then the SAP team fixes the issue, but recommends, to prevent this issue in the future, you have to implement a node. But then the ticket is closed because the business department got a workaround, and maybe it got forgotten that a correction has to be implemented into the system. And what we're doing here, we are analyzing the ServiceNow tickets, so the customer cases, and if a certain node has been recommended 3 times or more in the system, we list this node also in the EarlyWatch Alert report so that the IT team knows, okay, those are the corrections that should be implemented into the system. Email notifications. Here I have 2 screenshots. The first one here is the number of records in a certain table and how this is increasing over time. We have one measuring point per week, and then we do a mean forecast and a confidence interval, and we calculate a worst case date. And with this worst case date, we can send then out a notification if you have subscribed. So up till now, we have more than 2,000 customer contacts who have subscribed to our EarlyWatch Alert notification. If you haven't, please go into SAP for me and activate here those scenarios for notifications. Because then you will receive here a notification for critical tables for this limit. or for new, very severe alerts. So we call them decisive red alerts, which make the complete report red. And you would also receive notification regarding the HANA memory. Because this is another forecast, which you see in this screenshot. The blue line is the consumption of the HANA index server over time. And you see that there's an increase, a slow increase that is coming from the column store, from the data which is stored in the system, which is loaded into the main memory. But you have sometimes also the spikes here. And they can come from statement execution, from expensive SQL statements, or from delta merges. And here we would, on the one hand side, predict the slow increase, but also measure the spikes and have this as a safety belt here on top of the mean forecast. And at this point in time, when we say if another spike happens in the system, we would hit the limit, and it could happen that we have out-of-memory dumps on the HANA database. And out-of-memory dumps lead to unloading of data, and then the system can get slower and slower. So to avoid this, we want to do a forecast of the memory consumption and inform you here on the topic via notification. We just had this in our EarlyWatch Alert system. So our system administrator received our own notification because we had some expensive statements coming from an analytics cloud dashboard. And there was no filtering, and a lot of data was read. I think more than 1 terabyte spikes here of data, and we had to fix this. So good that we had subscribed to the notifications. We also detect if there's a severe slowdown, so if the response time of the system was really bad and users had to wait. But of course, it's not a real-time monitoring. It comes the next Monday when the report is ready. And we would inform you if there's no current service data shipped. So usually once a week we get a package of data which is collected. If this is not coming for 2 weeks, you get a notification so that you can look into your solution manager to find out why it's not sending, or into your managed system, depending on where it's sent from. Okay. So next topic is a special topic on compatibility packages for S4. And it's a good example to show you the solution finder in SAP for me. I don't know if you are familiar with compatibility packages. It's something that SAP introduced to make the transformation from ECC to S4HANA faster, so that transactions which have been there in ECC can still be used in S4. However, end of next year, the compatibility packages will expire in their usage rights. And some of the applications which will replace the old compatibility packages are only available in S4HANA 2022 or 2023. So it's very important to take the topic seriously and to think about, do I have to do an upgrade until end of next year? And am I using any compatibility packages in my system? There's a good blog here from Michael Deller on the topic, yeah, maybe to say a few words. So if the usage rights of an application expires, then also the maintenance or the support is expired, and it's very seriously also for regulated industries, because the auditor will ask, why are you still using applications which have expired in their usage rights. We have collected the information about are the compatibility packages are still in use, and this is an example chapter. So here you see we have found one transaction, CJI3, And this is used 13 times in the last 3 months, but no time in the last month. So L3M means last 3 months, last quarter. LM means last month. This for each of the compatibility objects, there's a specific node explaining the background. So why will this transaction expire, and what is the successor, and so on. And besides of the transactions which are checked, we also check the business functions which are activated in the system. So this is all available now, and you simply go to SAP for Me with your S user, go into the solution finder and find this chapter. But since it's important also to show you how this works, I have this here step by step. First of all, go to Service and Support, then Diagnostics, Reporting, Analytics. And here you find the card for Solution Finder. Now the application opens up, and you see beneath here a list of alerts. But what we've done here is I've entered a search term here, compatibility package usage expiry, but you can simply enter compat, also just the beginning of the string, that also works. Then you can enter a specific customer number, or it's already pre-selected. And if you hit return, you will see if some of your systems are affected. And this works for all alerts. So this is just an example for the compatibility package, but you can search for AI scenarios here, or you can search for finance. You can also use here the alert category, for example, for the category security, or SQL performance, and you'll see if there's any finding in your landscape. If you want to see the details, you click on the system ID, and that is where you are going to end up. That's a chapter of the EarlyWatch Alert report displayed here in the shell of the SAP for Me. And with the email button, you can send it to your business departments, for example, to share this information. But it's also possible to give feedback to SAP. If you click on the Alerts tab, you will see that there are two new icons here. One stopwatch, this is for snoozing an alert, and one eye here for hiding an alert. So what you can do here with the compatibility package alerts is you can give feedback that you are aware of the issue and that you're working on it until a certain point in time where you think that it's fixed. And here comes up a pop-up, and you say, okay, I want this alert relevant again, maybe June next year. Because I'm just implementing an alternative in my system, and it's okay that I want to snooze the alert, because I think I have it all under control and I'm implementing an alternative. You can also select the reason upgrade planned if the issue can only be fixed by upgrading the system. Okay, and afterwards the alert is not gone, but it has moved here from the relevant tab to the snooze tab. Yes. Yeah, you can do it for one system. Let me go back to this screen here. If you want to do it only for one system, you enter the system ID here in the filter, and then you have it here only for one system. Okay. Oh yeah, and on the right-hand side, you can activate here the log, where you see that who has snoozed or hidden a certain alert. So this works for you internally in your company. You would see the username here of the one who changed the alert. SAP will not see the username. SAP will just see the company name. And there's also a link to a video where this is explained step by step. Okay. And yeah, we want also to enhance the AI scenarios for the early watch alert topic. We have done a proof of concept for 2 different use cases. The first use case is at the moment, many customers have subscribed to receive the full early watch alert report every week. So we were thinking of we take the essence of a report, of the report from this week and from last week, and then we let the LLM generate a summary. And we would only send out the summary to the IT admin. That's one use case. Another use case is that in our reports, we very often mention a solution where a certain node fixes an issue. And sometimes the nodes are not so easy to understand because, for example, if you look at the HANA nodes from the experts, they are very long. And we have a certain context in our report. So the idea is that you have a button and we would take the context and the node number and then generate the solution out of the node into your UI. So those are 2 ideas that we came up with, but we want to do a workshop in November this year in the App House in Heidelberg and would like to invite customers. It will be a very small workshop, but you have the possibility to meet the Early Watch Alert development team and also brainstorm on different scenarios where we could use AI to enhance the consumption of our service. Okay, that's all from me, and now I'm open to questions.
Thank you very much. So if there are any questions, please raise your hand. I will come to you.
Hi, we're from the one of the Dutch government ministries, and cloud is a bit of a problem for us still. How is the data protected that we send to SAP in this case?
Yeah. So first of all, which data is sent is fully transparent. So you can go into the system and see which data is collected. And then the data is transferred to us. It remains in an SAP data center. It's not on a hyperscaler infrastructure. It's an SAP data center. And we have it also anonymized. So there are no GDPR relevant information inside the data, and we take care with the ethical and compliance standards that the data is protected. It's not stored on any hyperscaler.
Is there some white paper or something about it that we can prove it? Some documentation about it that we can find.
Yeah, maybe you can give me your contact, and I can. I have no open link to it, but I can send you some information.